Here I am with Laura Loomer on my show, William Wallace for America, at the Plan Revealed Mike Lindell Summit in Springfield. Laura, thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You know, I got to tell you, I'm always excited to see what you've got next. I'm always excited to see what you've got, what you're covering.
Thank you.
You do a really good job at getting out there and reporting it. You know, so let me ask you, for the crowd, are you more of a journalist, or are you more, because you do a lot of really great things to really prove a lot of points. What would you consider yourself more of?
So I am an investigative journalist, but I don't hide the fact that I'm extremely conservative and pro-Trump, right? So
right.
Some people will say, oh, well, you aren't really a journalist. Well, I am a journalist, right? I break really big stories that are having a very big impact on our elections and national issues. But I also believe that we're all, we all should be activists. All of us should be activists because we're losing our country and we need to fight to reclaim our voice. As I said during my speech yesterday, we need to fight to reclaim our country. And you're not going to do that by sitting on your butt doing nothing all day, right? So we all need to be activists and go protest and stand up for what we believe in and make our voices heard.
It's kind of like a double major. You know, you major in two things: journalism and activism. Mm-hmm. You know, and by getting out there and doing the work and reporting it, it's a lot of time and a lot of effort on your part. I commend you for that. What are you working on next?
Well, I'm doing a lot of work to expose Governor Ron DeSantis because there's a lot of people in this country who are being duped into thinking that Donald Trump, for some reason, shouldn't get another term as president of the United States, even though he has a record. And we all know the election was stolen. We're all here today, right? Because the election was stolen. We all know the election was stolen. And there's people like Ron DeSantis that want to lie to voters, and other candidates in this race as well that want to lie to the American people and say that our elections are secure and that there wasn't any voter fraud. And so we need to continue exposing all of these individuals and fight for President Trump, fight against the witch hunt. And that's really what I've been focusing all of my efforts and my investigative journalism on these days, is breaking stories about our elections.
Yeah, because not only is a full-time job being a journalist and exposing everything that's going on, it's also there's a lot of work we have to do on overcoming the narratives that the mainstream media is putting out there, that this is all crazy talk, this is all conspiracy, when once you see the proof, you can't unsee it.
No, you can't.
And that's some of the things I've noticed that you intertwine in some of the stuff that you put out there to be able to expose more of it. What's been your favorite story so far, do you think?
There's a lot, because I've done a lot of different stories and a lot of different, activist activities. I really enjoyed covering the shutdown of the government in 2019 over their refusal to give Donald Trump the funding for the wall. And as a result, I brought illegal aliens to Nancy Pelosi's lawn, and we pitched a tent on her lawn to expose the hypocrisy of the Democrats, advocating for open borders and then not allowing for people to claim sanctuary at their property. So
I remember that one. That was a good one.
Yeah.
But tell me, as out and about as you are in the public, as out and about as what you're working on, do you see the tide turning in the favor of not only election integrity, but motivation to be able to do what it's going to take to protect our country?
Yeah, but I worry it's a little too late now, right? Because I've been really a canary in the coal mine for all this big tech election interference and censorship for years, and I wish conservatives would have been having conferences like this 7 years ago, right, when we were blowing the whistle. Because now you see everyone's being censored, and these companies have been emboldened, right? These big tech companies have been emboldened to steal our elections. And when we talk about big tech, it's not just Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and things like that, right? We're talking about the technological aspect of manipulating machines or facilitating election fraud. And as we've seen and as we have learned before, and even at this conference, the elections are being manipulated by machines that can connect to the internet, even though officials have told us for years that they cannot. But there's also a lot of gaslighting and abusive behavior going on by Democrats and Republicans who want to tell us that our elections are not stolen. But they all said the election was stolen from Hillary Clinton. They all said the election was stolen from Stacey Abrams, right? The Democrats obviously said that the election was stolen from Bernie Sanders because it was. Right? They stole the nomination from Bernie Sanders at the DNC convention. I was there. I witnessed it with my own eyes while I was reporting on it. And so all of a sudden they want to pretend like we don't have election fraud in this country when people for years, right? The Democrats said that George Bush stole the election in Florida in 2000, right? And he probably did. He probably did, knowing what we know today, and the fact that the Bush family and the Bush administration really paved the way to create the Patriot Act, which allowed for the government and the deep state to have these surveillance technologies, which are now being weaponized in a weaponized government against conservatives and Donald Trump today, and their refusal to admit election fraud. They probably did steal the election, because Republicans and Democrats both steal elections.
It's funny because I speak to a lot of people that have that knee-jerk reaction. When they come here, they say, you're reporting election integrity. Our elections are safe. There's nothing wrong with our elections, because they listen to the narratives. They become brainwashed by the narratives that our elections are safe, they're secure, there's nothing wrong with the machines, yada, go on, they keep going on from there. And I try to reach those people and say, look, if you can just look at the small pieces of the puzzles, or small puzzle pieces that they're using to create this narrative picture, and you look at each individual piece, you'll see how you can debunk all of those things in the way of that it is indeed election fraud, that our country is at risk. It's the little bitty pieces, little bitty narratives that add up to make the big picture.
Exactly.
And I like to show them all the little bitty pieces, and that's one of the things that I recognize that you do. You're not just out there saying, hey, there's election fraud. You're actually going in and strategically doing little tasks to prove your point on things, and I commend you for that.
I appreciate
that. Thank you. How can people find out more about you, Laura?
Yeah, so, I'm pretty much banned everywhere except like Twitter now after I got my account back. But I am on Twitter, Gab, Truth Social, Getter at Laura Loomer, and I'm on Telegram at Loomered Official. But if they really want to see my investigative reports and they want to support what I'm doing, they can subscribe to my Substack, lauraloomer.substack.com. It's free to subscribe, but I tell people that, one of the things that allows me to say these things and to, be an investigative journalist who supports activists and push out stories that other people don't want to push out is when I'm supported and funded by the American people. So they can upgrade their subscription as well to a paid subscription. And they can also go to my website, loomered.com.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Laura, thank you so much.
Thank
I really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Everybody else, please keep your eyes on Laura Loomer. She's always out there working hard for the community. If you agree with her, go visit her site. And if you don't agree with her, go visit her site, because oftentimes she'll have information that will seriously make you think.
Exactly.
That's
why we're here, because we all need to think. We
exactly
need to make
right.
America think again.
I tell people that don't agree with me all the time, I say, look, even if you don't agree with me, it's actually just going to make you think about it.
Right.
All right, guys, pass the video on. Thank you all so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you.